And so when I first started doing this work, Taryn, I was unworthy, unhealthy, and a little bit broken, disconnected from myself. But I was so smart and so good looking and so charismatic that I was able to get away with a whole bunch in the external world. But I was miserable. I wasn't happy. As I began doing that and doing this work and doing this work and doing this work, I didn't start doing it part time. I kind of I kind of pushed all my chips in. And I pushed all my chips in because I was really feeling miserable. And I felt like if I didn't do it, I was afraid that I was going to probably end up dying, which is no big deal. Right? It's just a body, it's just another lifetime. I'm eternal. I didn't fully realize that at the time. Thank God, because the fear was enough to entice me to want to continue to live. But I couldn't function very well. I couldn't do very much because I felt so weighed down. I felt so mired in unworthiness, and I was taking everything that people said personally. I was very critical. I was, you wouldn't have recognized me. And if you would have recognized me back then, you sure wouldn't have been on more than one phone call with me. I was bad news. And my only way of manipulating the universe externally was force. So every time I got what I wanted, there was a bunch of dead bodies around me. And so one of the things that has come to be a very powerful practice for me in understanding and developing this sense of worthiness is number one, that you understand how your self-worth got slaughtered. Do you remember? I am who I am, and that is enough. I am who I am, and that is enough. When that feeling of unworthiness comes in, replace it with that conversation, because that conversation is the truth. The other one of feeling some comparison, and this is where it shows up, Darren. It's always, almost every time, going to show up in some comparison or some feeling of lack or some feeling of unworthiness. I'm not. It starts with I'm not, or I can't, or I didn't, or I haven't, right? So I'm going to say this to you. We'll start at the beginning again because it's important that you get it. And it's a two-way flow. People that you've grown up around, your people that were senior to you, that you thought knew what was going on, you begin to depend on them, spent most of their life being in separation. When they were in separation, they didn't have any guidance from their inner being. All they were relying on was the survival and kind of sustaining of themselves in the face of pain and suffering and their intellect. So everything is a strategy and a plan to try to cope with overcoming resistance in the physical world. The best you got if you're out of alignment, buddy. You understand? So these people, these are not bad people. They're just out of alignment. And so what they used on you to try to manipulate you had nothing to do with you. It had everything to do with them and what they were projecting onto you. When you acted some kind of way, you re-stimulated something that was going on with them, and they went over and tried to manipulate and control you. And they used shame, blame, force, fear, guilt, or sorrow. And every time they did that, your self-worth took a hit until eventually you thought something was fucking wrong with you. You bought it. So you can get a deeper understanding, and there's so much weight on this that it doesn't come off all at once. It can. I've just never seen it. But what you're talking about is becoming aware of not anything that anybody, just get this, not one thing that anybody said to you out of alignment that was sourced in any kind of invalidation or any make wrong that was coming from the energy of shame, blame, fear, force, guilt, or sorrow, not one of those things that was ever put upon you was about you. Hear me? Not one of them had anything to do with you. Zero. Zero. But you haven't lived that way because you didn't know. Instead, what you did is you adopted some of those conversations that they gave you when they were out of alignment, and then you used those same conversations to invalidate other people when you were out of alignment. That's the other side of the flow. So if you're still watching this video and you've heard some things that might have resonated with you and you think there might be something possible for you, click down below, get in touch with me, let's have a conversation, and you're going to know immediately whether or not this is a match. And whatever ends up happening is absolutely perfect. But I sure would love to connect with you and just have a conversation. Practice that feeling good. Anything else about money? And then let's just keep revisiting it. It's a beautiful conversation, buddy. It's such a beautiful conversation. Just start feeling really good about it. And then notice where you're talking about money, where you feel uncomfortable or you feel like backed up or when some fear sets in or something. And just replace that. Just catch it immediately. You see, your consciousness now and your awareness characteristics, you're paying attention to and tuning into how you feel. You're going to be aware of these negative emotions or these fear-based thoughts about money immediately. Catch them immediately. Yeah. Really beautiful. Really beautiful. Anything? Yeah. Really beautiful. Yeah. Okay. Anything else about that with abundance and money? It's a practice. It's a journey. Enjoy the journey. Enjoy the fun and the play. Oh.